I didn't think the person being hauled off my land in handcuffs would be the HOA president, bleeding, screaming, still trying to blame me for her own fall. I didn't think a few stolen mangoes would end with police lights flashing through my orchard at dawn. And I definitely didn't think karma would come running as fast as it did, but when it didn't miss. I live on a small mango farm at the edge of a quiet suburban development in Florida. My family bought this land long before anyone ever thought of forming an HOA, long before matching mailboxes and lawn height violations became a personality trait. I grow mangoes for a living. That's it. I wake up early, I tend trees, I fix fences, I mind my own business. I've never signed an HOA document, never attended a meeting, never paid a fee. My deed is clean, my boundaries are surveyed, and my land is legally mine. The only thing separating my farm from the neighborhood is a reinforced fence and a clear line on a county map. Or at least it should have been clear. The HOA next door is called Oak Ridge Estates. If you've ever lived near one, you already know the type. Perfectly trimmed hedges, identical houses, and a board that treats power like a hobby. At the top of that board sat Linda Harper. Mid-50s visor, always on posture, stiff like she was permanently addressing a room. She was the kind of woman who spoke in fines and threats, who believed rules only applied when she wasn't the one breaking them. Around the neighborhood, people whispered her name the same way you talk about storms, quietly, cautiously, hoping she'd pass without noticing you. At first, I barely knew she existed. That changed the night my security cameras picked up movement where no movement should be. It was late, humid, the kind of Florida night where even the bugs sound tired. I was half asleep when my phone buzzed with a motion alert. I figured it was a raccoon, maybe a stray dog. I opened the feed anyway, more out of habit than concern. What I saw made my stomach tighten, a human shape moving deliberately between my mango trees. I zoomed in. The visor, the tote bag, the confident way she walked like she'd done it before. Linda Harper, president of Oak Ridge Estates, hopping my fence like it was a suggestion, not a boundary. She moved fast, efficient, plucking ripe mangoes and stuffing them into her bag. She glanced around, once barely concerned, the posture of someone who'd never been told no and never expected to be. I replayed the footage 3 times, then 4. Anger crept in, slow, heavy. That fence was posted, private property, no trespassing, reinforced posts, locked gate. It wasn't subtle, and yet there she was, acting like my orchard was a community snack bar. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't call the police. Instead, I saved the footage, tagged the timestamp, backed it up twice. Farming teaches you patience. Timing matters. You don't rush harvest and you don't swing until you're sure. The next morning, I went straight to the HOA office. Boots still dusty, temper leashed tight. The building looked exactly like you'd expect: fake stone walls, inspirational posters about community harmony, and a receptionist who avoided eye contact like it was contagious. Linda's voice carried from her office, already raised at someone on the phone. I didn't knock. When livestock wanders where it doesn't belong, you don't knock. You act. I told her calmly that I had video of her trespassing on my land and stealing mangoes. No insults, no yelling, just facts. She laughed. Actually laughed. Said I must be mistaken. According to her, my land bordered community property, which in Linda language meant anything she could see belonged to the HOA. I reminded her my deed didn't come with HOA fine print. Her smile thinned. When I mentioned calling the police, the air shifted. She slammed her hand on the desk, admitted she'd taken the mangoes and claimed she was preventing waste, said they'd rot anyway. Then she leaned back, looked me up and down, and told me to do my worst. That she was the HOA president, that people like me always backed down. Farmers were replaceable, rules were flexible. She knew everyone that mattered. I left without another word. Arguing with entitlement only feeds it. Weeks passed, or at least that's what it felt like. In reality, it was a steady drip of violations. Linda kept coming back, sometimes alone, sometimes with another board member standing lookout. Different bags, different shoes, same theft. Every visit went straight into my archive. Multiple angles, Clear timestamps. I wasn't building a case for court yet. I was letting arrogance stack its own charges. Neighbors started whispering. Mango slices showed up at HOA events praised loudly as community contributions. Linda strutted like a queen handing out gifts, never suspecting the orchard remembered everything. And that's when the doubt crept in. Late nights sitting at my kitchen table watching footage on loop, I started asking myself uncomfortable questions. Was I overreacting? Was this worth the stress? Fighting an HOA isn't like arguing with a neighbor. They have lawyers, money, time. I had trees and a fence and a life I wanted to keep simple. Part of me wondered if I should just let it go. Replace the fence, eat the loss, keep my head down. I hated that thought, hated how small it made me feel, but it was there heavy and real. There were moments I felt stupid for even thinking I could win. Like the system was designed to grind people like me down until compliance felt easier than resistance. Then came the morning that changed everything. I was watching the cameras live, coffee untouched, dawn barely breaking. Linda appeared earlier than usual, confidence dialed up, carrying a larger bag, like she was shopping at a market she didn't own. She scanned the road, waited, then vaulted the fence with practiced ease. Mangoes disappeared fast, branches shaking fruit thudding into fabric. She wasn't careful anymore. Familiarity breeds sloppiness. On her way back, bag heavy, she rushed the jump she'd mastered before. That's when it happened. Her shirt caught on a rusted hook near the fence post, one I'd marked weeks earlier for removal but hadn't gotten to yet. The snag twisted her midair. She dropped hard. The sound carried even through the speakers. Mangoes scattered like evidence rolling downhill. For a few seconds she didn't move. My heart jumped. Not with satisfaction, with shock. I grabbed my phone and called 911. I reported an injured trespasser on my property. No drama, no accusations, just location and condition. On camera, Linda groaned, cursed, tried to sit up. Panic replaced entitlement fast. She yelled for help, then blamed the fence, the ground, the trees, anything but herself. When the police arrived, lights flashing through the orchard, she switched stories instantly. Said she'd been inspecting a boundary issue. The officers listened. Then they turned to me. I played the footage, every angle, every visit. Silence did the talking. Her face drained as timestamps rolled. She accused me of spying, of harassment, of setting traps. The officers didn't bite. Trespassing is trespassing. Theft is theft. Titles don't rewrite deeds. They helped her up, read her rights, and escorted her out past the same fence she once mocked. I thought it was over. I was wrong. Days later, a process server showed up with papers thick enough to fertilize a field. Linda was suing me, claimed my fence was a known hazard, that my cameras were harassment, that her injuries were my fault. For a moment, that old doubt tried to crawl back in, that feeling of being small, outmatched. Then I watched the footage again, and something clicked. I wasn't wrong. I wasn't overreacting. I wasn't powerless. Court day came fast. Linda walked in dressed like a victim, arm-wrapped face practiced. She told the judge she was inspecting HOA boundaries, saving community resources, and fell because I booby-trapped my land. Then my attorney pressed play. The room watched Linda hop fences, steal mangoes, return repeatedly, and lie without blinking. The judge paused the video twice, eyebrows climbing higher each time. Linda tried interrupting. Context, intent, misunderstanding. The judge shut it down. Trespassing is trespassing. Theft is theft. Her case collapsed in real time. She lost everything she brought into that courtroom: money, credibility, position, restitution, legal costs, emergency response fees. The HOA replaced her quietly. I filed for a restraining order. It was granted without hesitation. I went back to farming. Trees don't care about lawsuits, but they remember who tends them. Power without boundaries always falls.